In a little while, we're going to explain what we're going to do differently with our free money question of the day. Give you a chance to win $100 in cash coming up. And it's from the Hobica Law Firm. And I think I think you'll like this. This is kind of interesting. The OD had a story over the weekend about the Herkimer versus Herkimer County. Anybody see that? And I think it was a little unfair to the Herkimer. I guess you'd have to pick your sides, right? So you have the village of Herkimer battling with Herkimer County. It's been going on forever over the issue of the jail. And now the village is proposing an increase in sales tax, which would make Herkimer County the highest sales tax, or maybe second highest in the state. And oh, by the way, it's a 0.6% increase, and all of that money would end up going to the village. So it'd be a pretty I don't know how you'd ever get the rest of the county legislators to vote for that, right?
Right,
because their communities aren't receiving any of the sales tax.
Right.
So I think it would be a toughie. Anyway, the story is the only observation I have in the story is that it's kind of like when the teacher comes out and she sees two kids arguing, and she doesn't want to hear anything. They're both in the wrong. Mm-hmm. And she's not going to dig in, or he is not going to dig in and find out what's going on, who started it, and she'll never know that the one kid punched the other kid in the face and called his mother a dirty word. And the kid, then it caused the fight. So the one who's kind of defending the honor of his mother is like, I didn't start this. I'm just punch me in the face. I'm not. You're all wrong. You both get detention. And that's really what the story did. And I'm not sure that that's fair. I'm not sure that that is a fair way to assess the situation going on down in Herkimer and in Herkimer County.
So where are we now?
It is. They're saying the village is saying
the village punched the county. By the way, I
do feel that way. Yeah, I hate to say this, and I know my father's on the legislature down there, but that's brand new. He just was elected in November, and so he's a new legislator there. But I kind of feel like, and we've talked to the mayor from Herkimer, and I kind of feel like no matter what's going on, Herkimer is in a position where they've kind of got to count their losses and just move forward and get something. But to be demanding, and that demand, which was public, was raising the sales tax and a couple of other things, and it basically said, this is it. This is our final offer. Well, if it's your final offer and that's what you state at the end, are you surprised that someone doesn't come back with a counter?
Right.
If you say that's your final offer, then that's what that would mean.
It's take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Right.
And now it's almost like they didn't want the county to take the deal. They knew the county wouldn't take that deal, and that it's going to end up going back into court, which is going to cost the taxpayers, even of the village of Herkimer and the county, it's going to cost them even more to fight this thing. I can't. And imagine if you're a business that's thinking, boy, I'm interested in maybe moving into the central New York area for this nanotech, and where should I move? Well, don't go to Herkimer County because it's a disaster down there. They're all fighting, and it's just not a place where you want to go right now. To me, and oh, by the way, they're talking about making their sales tax the highest in the entire state. To me, you're barking up you're barking up the wrong tree here.
What is their sales tax now?
I don't know. It's over. Well, it'd be over 8%. I believe. I don't know exactly what it is right now, but it would if they went up by 0.6%. It would make them the highest, either the second highest or the highest in the state. So,
can you remind me one other thing? Didn't several years ago the sales tax increase by 0.25% or 0.5% to actually pay for the building of a new jail? Did that go through for 20 years?
I think so. Yeah,
for 20 years, I think it was. Yeah.
On the line. Oh, Stephen on the line here. Good morning, Stephen. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
Stephen had a busy weekend. He was at the hockey game yesterday.
Yes, I was.
And they had a rough weekend. They lost 2 games in overtime and got clobbered by Albany on Saturday night, but they still walk away with 2 more points, and their magic number is now 22 points. They have to score 22 points, and if they do, they'll clinch yet another playoff berth. Pretty awesome.
They need to get a move on. Well, Harmony, especially, if she had a legitimate excuse being in a hospital, and usually the facility gives paperwork showing that where you've been signed by a nurse and doctor, that should be a legitimate excuse. She was in a hospital. She was maybe in no condition to sign paperwork. And if she has a doctor's note by a medical doctor that has a license, that should be enough.
So you think that she should bring like a note from home or a doctor's note?
Yeah. Usually the hospital, when they discharge you,
they give you a little note.
The facility gives you discharge papers.
That makes sense.
And if she has that, that's signed by a doctor and a nurse.
Are you going to get onto her GoFundMe page and help her raise a little money? She's already at $50.
Well, we have to make exceptions maybe to the rules, and maybe when she's in the condition that she can sign, then she can sign it. The people elected her.
All right, Stefan. Well, I appreciate your opinion.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, have a wonderful day, Stefan Rubitsky. It is. Listen, that is the feeling of some people. I got people sending messages. I just can't read on the radio, but I chuckle. Listen, Greg writes in, Bill, you're starting to sound like Glenn Beck, Trump, every day, all the time. I will admit that every morning it seems that we open with something about Trump, but then I get sick of it and we just move on and don't talk about it the rest of the morning. But if you listen at 6 in the 6 o'clock hour, we maybe do talk about Trump almost every day because there's a story.
Yeah.
He says, I think you need to back up the tape. You just said that even when the time comes that Trump says no more violence, there will still be violence, and it's his fault. Okay, without reading the rest of your stuff, Greg, I'll respond to that coming up. And you want to pipe in on it? 7360186. We can talk a little bit about this, the violence and Trump and whose fault it is and the backing up of the tape. I'll do all of that coming up. Hold on tight. Right now, Christine, by the way, 8.25% is what Herkimer County's sales tax is currently. Here's Christine with an update.